All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us at tonight's post-match Austin FC press conference, joined by head coach Josh Wolff. Before we begin, a quick note. Tonight's attendance of 20,738 marks the 61st consecutive sellout at Q2 Stadium, extending the league's longest active streak. It's also Austin FC's 5th consecutive win at home at Q2 Stadium. Before we go to media questions, Coach Wolff, we'll start with your thoughts on the match.
A solid match. Really proud of the guys. The energy in the stadium is obviously a big pusher. 3 games in a week. It's always challenging to find some energy, but the stands, the fans, the community, as always, deliver. The tifo was awesome. Fortress, it's exactly what we talked about this place being. Creating that atmosphere is part of our responsibility, but obviously the fans, and I think they take great honor in that. And obviously it's a celebration of the AAPI Heritage Month, but really appreciative, and our players would express that as well. It's an interesting night. We grab the goal, it gets taken back, we give up a goal, and that's where character comes through. These guys didn't bat an eye. There's no breaking from script. We continue to power on. There's some difficult moments in the first half, but we charged with some great actions and created some very great goals. And unfortunately, a couple of them didn't count, and we lost a penalty or missed a penalty late to really extend the lead and close the game. But again, when the grittiness and the personality needs to come through and shine, it does. When quality needs to step forward, as it has in these last 9 games for us, where we went 6-1-2, the guys continue to deliver, and it's a whole group. It's not just Seba. It's Jojo hasn't seen minutes. He comes in and competes extremely well. Owen comes in this game as well. The subs that came in, as they have the last 5 games, giving us either the ability to win the game or to lock a game down. Giassi was sensational. Ethan Leo coming in at half. We didn't want Julio to have an issue in the second half, being on a yellow, because we know Kansas City's going to have to go for it. And Maddie as well. So complete performance, complete effort from the guys, and I know they're exhausted. It was a taxing week, and they're gassed, but they're obviously in a very good space, and we want to obviously recover from this, enjoy it, and get ready for another 3 in a week next week.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go down to media questions. Eric, we'll start with you. You might have to turn the mic on. I'm not sure if it's on yet.
There you go. Cool. Yeah, Josh, take me through the change in the midfield. It really seemed to unlock Danny, him getting forward, Johan coming in. How much of that was just squad rotation from the week versus something you thought could actually unlock the offensive?
I think it's a little bit of everything. Alex has been a killer for us all year. So he and Seba and Emmy, their ground cover, their high-speed run, the volume and what they were able to contribute in the first 2 games is significant. We knew we need to get a little bit of freshness, but I also didn't want to break up the continuity. These guys have been performing at a really high level. Pepe being a little bit more of a 10, we started preseason in that way to give him a little bit of a look there, and his positioning in those moments sometimes for him is challenging because he's not used to it. But today he did a great job. Jojo did a good job, obviously. In our 4+1, as we say, he's kind of fronting those center backs. But when Pepe can help unlock it, it also helps unlock Seba. And we had a number of really good actions that we probably didn't reward ourselves with, and maybe one got called back. But it's something that we've seen, we've worked on, and I think he's got to grow into that. Even as we put him out wide to now be a winger to ask different questions, we wanted to keep him on there because Pepe's special quality is his dribbling. He can break lines on the dribble. I've said before, Nagby and Williamson at Portland, they're 3 very unique players that can really damage a team by those individual qualities. And he was quite solid tonight. Obi was, there were a number of good performances, but there's certainly some thought into how we could, Kansas City's played a couple different structures, so they came right back to what their base was. They were 4-3-3 tonight, and they went back to a 4-4-2 in the second half. But we want to utilize the qualities of the players that we have, the best qualities that we can bring to the game, and I think it showed tonight. They did a really good job.
And then just the idea to bring in Giassi at halftime, what went into that, and then obviously talk about just the impact that he had immediately coming on with the assist.
Awesome impact, and he's that's who Giassi is, complete team player. He will run himself into the ground for the team. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get himself a goal. I think we see the week and what it looks like. We look at what Dallas looked like. We look at what Houston looked like. We were able to save some minutes on Diego and Obi, thus they were able to start tonight. I talked to them, with Rodrigo during the week, and as we recover, I'm going to need you guys to give me everything you got. If it's 45 minutes, so be it. If it's 60, great. If it's, you're able to go 90, awesome. But it's taxing, it's challenging, and the first half. Again, they gave us a good impulse, and Diego and Julio, we made a decision based a little bit on what we saw. Defensively, we weren't able to get the pressure we wanted, so Diego, that was part of it. And Giassi's fresh, and he's ready to go, and he's contributed well. And for Julio, I don't want him having to do anything on a yellow. It's the game, they're going to start stretching. Expect Agata to come in, so we didn't want to put him in that space. And Leo is, again, an extremely good center back. So I think we got the best of everything on that. It certainly started well in the second half, so we were able to pay that paid some dividends. But as the half went on, we labored a bit, but the guys continued to grind. We had opportunities to take the fourth and kill it, and we didn't. But still really, really pleased with their efforts and execution. Colby?
Pereira, Heinze, Gallagher, I
Mhm.
believe they play. I mean, the second straight
Yeah.
game in 4 days, they
Yeah.
played 90 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, what does it take to be able to
Yeah.
do that? And they look, energetic doing so.
Yeah.
What does it take to be able to do that?
Yeah. You guys asked the other day about, our high-performance team. So part of that is what we can provide inside St. David's Performance Center. St. David's has generously given us everything we could ever ask for as an organization to help these guys recover. And then it's also up to players. I mean, this is their job. This is their career. This is their life. They also have to take ownership of how they want to prepare and recover. And then it's about performing. And those guys that you mentioned and many others performed extremely well over the course of 8 days, 3 games, 270 minutes. Again, we could have taken all 9 points. And, I'm not going to get too greedy about it, but these guys worked extremely hard through these 3 games and 3 very different opponents, and they performed at a really, really high level. And we're able to maintain a good fitness level, not too many bumps or bruises that pushed us away. Ethan was able to rejoin the group today. We hope Biro joins again so we can, continue to help a group that's pretty light, but now is looking fairly healthy, and that's a real positive going into what will be a normal week. But right away we're back into 3 games in a week with Colorado, Portland, and RSL. Phil?
So we got 2 questions into pro right now. One about the Russell goal where it looked like Polito was offside in the build-up, and then Finley getting tripped by Fontes in the box in the 70th minute. Did you get any kind of explanations or seek any explanations for either of
No,
those?
it's hard. The refs, their job's tough. They got VAR. They make the calls they make. If it's something that needs to come back, I'm sure they'll utilize that space.
Okay, and then you'd mentioned the TIFO tonight. Obviously, protect the legend
Yeah.
was the saying on that.
Yeah.
Any kind of special thoughts about like what that means? Kind of the team taking maybe resonance in that, considering the defense, considering.
Yeah. No, I think that's it. To me, it's protect the legend, protect the house. It's a place that they have helped build, and they help make it sacred. And this is 5 in a row for us at home. That's a pretty good run for our group, and we got it on the board as some goals and objectives this year. So these guys are adamant about it. But anytime the fans can give us the boost, and we mentioned it last week, or at least earlier this week, this will be the most challenging game of the week. It's the third. It's a good opponent. They're going to be hungry and they're fresh. So the fans show up as always. The supporter sections, killed it again, and hopefully our guys prove that they're up for anything that can be thrown at them at this point. They've done a great job.
Eric?
Yeah, congrats on the win, Coach.
Thanks.
Would you say like this 3-match week is a real testament to the depth that you have on your team right now?
I think certainly the guys that have been able to come in. We didn't make a ton of changes from Dallas to Houston to this, so we made 2 changes in this game, and there's continuity. I think we know what continuity means to this group. We've experienced the other side when it's completely erratic and we don't have maybe the starters per se, but right now we have a group that's competing extremely well, and we've been able to remain fairly healthy. But that consistency and continuity is extremely important. The guys that come in also have real clarity as to what their roles and responsibilities are inside the game. And I mentioned it tonight, JoJo and Owen start in place of a couple guys, but they come in and do a good job. And any and all of the reserves that have come in for us, I say the last 5, it may be more than that, to make contributions to the game, whether it's locking the game down or generating goals, as G did here. He set up 2 goals for Seba in the past game. So, it's a testament to the group. Their willingness is awesome. Their camaraderie is fantastic, and we have a lot of work to do. We're not a finished product, and I know this league. Our staff knows this league pretty well. We have to keep grinding. We have to keep pushing forward, and home is home. We got to do our best to take points, max points as often as we can. If you can average 2 at home, you're in a good space. You can average 1 on the road, you're pretty certain you're going to be in a good spot for the playoffs. But we got a long ways to go.
And then In the second half of a match like this where your team's in the lead, like how do you find that balance between defensive solidity but also still like maintaining a threat in attack?
Yeah, I think we've seen that now in a number of games. We understand Kansas City is a good team. Peter Vermes and Kerry Zavagnin, 10, 11, 12 years with that group. So they know what they're doing. It's an experienced, group in a lot of ways. They have some new faces, but they're a very competitive side. We know we're not taking anything for granted in this league. And when you're able to hold the ball and you're able to affect the opponent, I think you want to try and do that. We know we get leggy. Or there's the chance that we're going to get leggy. We try to introduce bodies and players that can help still maintain stability as far as possession and circulation. But ultimately, you're going to have to dig a little bit and grind, and that's just part of it. It's been a big part of what we've talked about from preseason, reflecting on last year and some of the things that we've worked on over the course of 13 games plus preseason. And there's the validation that we always talk about. The wins are there, but it's all the other stuff for us as coaches. We see so much more in besides the winning, and that's what that's what we were holding on to in those first 4 or 5 games when we didn't have Seba, and we weren't getting the wins, but there was still growth and progress being made. So we're seeing it in its probably fullest in its fullest manner now because we're grabbing results, but. No rest. We recover from this. We get ready for a busy, difficult week. Colorado, Portland, and Salt Lake. They're as challenging as it gets in this league.
Jimmy?
Sort of answered this, but is there anything you can take away from this recent run of form to parlay into a tougher stretch down the road where things may not be going your way?
I think there's great resiliency in the group. I think there's real character now and personality that is shining through. There's no panic when things don't go our way. Again, we were at Dallas, and our best player gives the ball away, and so what? Like, it happens. How many times he's bailed us out? The guys just pick up and get moving on. We had so many opportunities to grab goals in Dallas and earlier than we did, and again, that's an opportunity lost in our eyes. We played extremely well, but they brush it off. They come home, and it's a challenging turnaround against another Derby team. So. The week is filled with a lot of emotion and difficulty, but I think we're most proud of, again, the character inside the group, the determination and the willingness inside the group, and obviously the contributions from all. And we're going to need that going forward. We know this is a long, arduous grind, and we'll celebrate the 6 points, the 3 points tonight, 6 points in the week, and get ready for another fun-filled week.
Eric?
Yeah, Josh, just from a game planning and a scouting perspective, can you take me into the challenge of what it is when you and your staff are facing a week with 8 days, 3 matches? How quickly does that all have to come together?
It's one game at a time, and I don't. Houston or Dallas, we didn't look past Dallas. You got to really respect and own that space. Dallas is a good team. We're playing on the road. What does that look like? What do we expect them to do? How do we expect to expose their vulnerabilities? And it's the game concludes. Who do we have available? And then you start reining in on Houston. We had the luxury of already playing Houston, so there's not a ton to really dissect. We know who they are. We know what they want to do, and ultimately it's now who gives us the best chance going into that game to have the best ability to contain what they're doing, and how we can exploit the things that we find areas that we can hurt them. And it's just repeating that process. We see the game, review it quickly because the week is quick. The games come quick, but that's just it. We don't get caught in the weeds. We don't get too caught up with the emotion. Again, that's a process, and we just don't deviate too much from that. And we keep in mind where players are emotionally, physically. Some guys are getting minutes. So as a staff, we got to be really, really I think realistic with how they're feeling, and make sure we have contact points inside the training center. That's with our high performance guys, our assistant coaches. Everybody needs to feel like they're the most important player, and that's building relationships and communicating. So there's a lot that goes into it, but it's been a good week. We'll enjoy it. It's 1 week. It's 1 week.
Colby?
Just Obrien, the brace.
Yeah.
How big of an impact has he been just the past 2 months?
Yeah, I think it's exactly what we, in the off season, understanding how we could acquire players and knowing that we had, some limitations with the ability to bring in players, both from roster standpoint, but more the salary cap. And I give Roto a lot of credit. We brought in players, and we didn't have a lot of money, so we brought in 5 players, and all 5 of those guys have been impactful. I think Obrien is. he brings speed and verticality. We lack that, and we knew that from last year. When we lost a lot of players, and he was, as that re-entry draft neared, we were able to pick up the phone, talk to him, and see what he was interested in, tell him about the project, and same for Diego late in preseason, and Brendan the same. So that's part of what we do. We try to identify who these players are and how they can help us, and obviously get them in under budget, and then try to put them in a space to have success. And for Obrien, he played with Nico Estevez in Dallas, so I think there's some commonalities to what we do and a little bit of game model, but he brings exactly what you saw tonight. He has speed. He will arrive. He probably runs himself ragged, so it's tough for him to go 90 minutes, but he has impactful qualities, and that's really, really important. And it helps unlock guys like Seba and certainly Diego and Pepe. And when you have that threat, there is some freeing of some other space for other guys. But really pleased with his contributions tonight, and certainly his mentality to keep pushing. Phil?
Yeah, just one last one for me. Just kind of thoughts on resilience of the team in the last 15 minutes. Looks like you're going to get the insurance goal, and then Driussi misses the penalty. It's his first missed MLS penalty. I think his first missed one in a match in over a decade.
Yeah.
And then obviously you bring in Hedges for that kind of defensive backbone towards the last part of the game. So just kind of thoughts on the resilience there.
Yeah, no, I think you got it exactly right. Tamilia is about as good as they get. I think Nicky Ramondo's, for me, one of the ones that come to mind with penalty save. But Tamilia is up there. He's quite solid. And in the moment, he got the better of Seba. But, we were already looking at potentially bringing in Maddie or somehow getting to a back five. They're taking massive risks. They're putting a lot of guys on the line. Again, we don't change unless we feel we absolutely have to change. And we've gone to it a number of times. So it was a couple minutes maybe after we missed that penalty, but we went to 5. And it's still about generating some pressure. You don't want to get buried so deep, but we understand it's 3 games in 7-8 days. So the guys came in and did a good job. Ethan, Maddie, he gives us size, the ability to compete for things in the penalty box. But we lift one another up. Seba missed the goal. Like I said, he's done way too many good things for this organization in a short time to ever fault him. He'll be up next again for the next penalty. I'll guarantee you that. We get one, he's taking it. Yeah, that doesn't hurt either. So he has a way of making an impact. There's no two ways about it.
Anything else, y'all? Okay, thanks, everyone. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, guys.